excruciating pain that I was suffering after recent reconstructive surgery on my scalp. There have
In front of cameras, Michael Jackson usually stayed composed. He kept his voice gentle, kept smiling under pressure, and rarely let criticism turn into a full-blown confrontation. Still, that calm exterior had boundaries. There was a point past which Michael would not be pushed. He could tell right away when someone was distorting his words, ridiculing him, or trying to paint him as powerless. And in those moments, he revealed a reaction that caught people completely off guard.
each other very much.
So, is the family still closely knit despite all the kind of tabloid stuff over
That's
the years?
sensationalism.
How do you deal with that?
How do I deal with sensationalism?
Yeah, how do you deal with everything in your life being magnified, exaggerated,
It's not true.
almost to a grotesque
It's like looking at
state?
a fictitious movie because it's fiction. It's like watching science fiction. It's not true. And I know myself. And it's sad when other people have to read those things and they believe it. But
Do you feel like holding a press conference every week and saying, well, this is the rumor du jour? That's not true.
That was the source of his strength. Michael was not pleading with tabloids for fair treatment. He understood they had already settled on their story about him. So rather than chasing down every lie, he held on to one truth. Facts would outlast the headlines.
looking at a fictitious movie because it's fiction. It's like watching science fiction. It's not true. And I know myself. And it's sad when other people have to read those things and they believe it. But
Do you feel like holding a press conference every week and saying, well, this is the rumor du jour? That's not true.
No, because I know eventually the truth will prevail. And I'm about truth, you know?
I've researched it, and I can't find anyone who's been more frivolously sued than you for the most outrageous reasons. One of your attorneys told me that a woman called Billie Jean Jackson.
Michael knew exactly why this kept happening. As his fame grew, so did the number of people ready to come after him. Success brought him influence, but it also painted a target on his back. Every corner of his life turned into something the public felt entitled to judge. Even so, he kept returning to one core belief: truth always wins in the end.
I know myself. And it's sad when other people have to read those things and they believe it. But
Do you feel like holding a press conference?
The same pattern played out with Neverland. People enjoyed painting it as bizarre, but Michael viewed it in a completely different light. To him, Neverland was no joke at all. It was the one place he could relax, feel secure, and live free from a world constantly chasing him.
I don't know what happened to the other two. Maybe they were abducted by aliens.
Yeah, I heard about that story. No, I don't have any twins. And they said I'm hiding them or something. No, it's another made-up rumor.
So it's completely false.
Yeah, I think the bigger the star, the bigger the target. I'm not trying to say I'm the super-duper star. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, the fact that people come at celebrity. We're targets.
That response brings everything into focus. People made fun of his private world, but overlooked his actual reality. Michael could not even step outside like a normal person, with fans, police, and security surrounding him. So Neverland was never just fantasy. It was peace. It was his refuge from a world that refused to give him.
I don't know how you manage without a nanny.
Well, I enjoy taking care of my children myself. It's fun. That's why I had them, so I could take care of them. And it's great relief for me.
The next moment proved disrespect did not only come from tabloids. Sometimes it showed up through jokes, comparisons, and people dropping his name just to get a reaction. They treated him like a punchline, instead of recognizing him as one of music's most important artists.
Do they like it?
They find it exciting. They do. They want to get on stage. They bug me to go on stage with me. So
that ties into the story behind Bad and the Prince collaboration that never came together. On paper, it looked massive. Michael Jackson and Prince sharing one track would have been a huge cultural moment. But Prince was not comfortable being put in a spot where the song made him seem lesser. And Michael had no plans to soften the entire edge of Bad just to put someone else at ease.
Hypothetically, who would win in a fist fight, you or Michael Jackson? They're both roughly, the same size. You have both have high-pitched sound. What are your right hooks like?
Oh my goodness. He's a plant, y'all. But I planted him.
Michael valued talent, but he guarded his vision just as much. If the energy did not fit, he refused to force it into place. Prince had his doubts, Michael had his direction, and rather than letting it spiral into drama, Michael simply moved forward without him.
That was an experience of the choir. But as far as the message was concerned, a lot of it was based in fear. You know, what will happen to you if you do something bad, and I don't think God...
Some people around Michael got too comfortable, assuming his soft-spoken nature meant he would never push back. They mocked him, crowded his space, or tried to catch him off guard, expecting a smile in return. But Michael was not going to just absorb it quietly. Once the teasing crossed a line, he clapped back. He told them to step off and made it clear he was nobody's toy. It was not a massive blow-up, but it landed with enough force to shut the moment down instantly.
We all continue working and we all continue growing, I think. And it's our journey, you know, it's not for somebody who doesn't play music to step up and say, you know, that's not it.
The next moment reveals a different flavor of disrespect. Michael faced questions about whether he actually grasped what he had signed, and the tone alone made the room feel tense. It went beyond legal documents. The question implied Michael was not fully alert or in charge of his own decisions.
Like this? Or can you see chess?
I can see right about where your Nike is.
What a schmuck. Back up. Ah, diddly. Like this. That's how you back up.
That is the moment Michael cuts off the exaggeration. They tried to frame it as if he was impaired constantly, and he shuts it down with one quick correction. Of course not. He does not drag it out. He simply kills the false narrative before it can spread any further.
That impaired your ability to understand what you were doing?
It could have been medication, yes.
Okay, what medications were you taking in about January of 2003?
Could have easily have been pain medication because I had some serious injuries on tour.
Okay.
And this stands as one of the clearest examples of disrespect, because it was not just some rumor. Eminem openly mocked Michael, and Michael was asked how it felt being disrespected by a fellow artist. That made this situation different. This came from someone inside the music world, not directed to Eminem.
Was this an impairment that lasted like all your waking hours, or did it come and go?
It comes and goes. Not all of your waking hours, of course not.
Okay.
Michael felt the sting because he had genuine respect for Eminem's talent. He knew firsthand what artists endure and how brutal public judgment can feel. So watching another artist mock his pain, his looks, and his struggles felt cheap. Michael did not raise his voice, but he did not brush it off either. When he said Eminem ought to be ashamed of himself, the words hit hard because they were calm and direct. He was not trading insult for insult. He was simply pointing out that Eminem had crossed a line.
Not to Eminem. We've spoken about it. I think that you should. Why not?
Speak about what?
About Eminem and this disrespect that he showed.
Then Michael got to the heart of the matter. Artists, he believed, should respect one another. To him, true greatness never came from dragging someone else down for attention. He was not saying jokes were off limits entirely. He was saying humiliation is a different thing altogether.
It's like watching science fiction. It's not true. And I know myself. And it's sad when other people have to read those things and they believe it. But
Do you feel like holding a press conference every week and saying, well, this is the rumor du jour? It's not true.
But the story got even more interesting as time went on. Michael did not fire back with a diss track or an angry rant. He worked through business channels instead. While everyone braced for outrage, he ended up holding music publishing power connected to the very artist who had mocked him. That is exactly why this moment feels bigger than a typical celebrity feud.
There are a lot of surprises. Film. I love film.
What else?
Well, it's not just so much film, but it's innovating it and pioneering it.
Michael kept his point simple. He said artists should respect artists, and he would never do that to Eminem. That single line exposed the real gap between them. Eminem aimed for embarrassment. Michael stood on principle.
Michael was very calm about it. And we couldn't believe it, because the guy, I think Eminem was dressed up or a lookalike or something, he threw his nose on the bed. What was the single called? Didn't say much. And then we found out a few years later that he bought all of Eminem's songs. So every time that Eminem wanted to play a song, he had to ask Michael Jackson and paid Michael Jackson a fee. Or Michael could block it.
Even those close to Michael understood the Eminem situation was no small joke. When Eminem's name resurfaced later, Michael instantly asked about his retirement. That showed he had been paying close attention. He knew the headlines, the industry, and exactly who had disrespected him.
We made a TV show. So she said that she was made to say those things by her controlling husband at the time. And there may have been truth to that. I don't know. 93, I was still at school. I don't know. But then she got married again to a guy called Jeffrey, who I've spoken to. And we were doing a TV show, and all the brothers and family were happy to take.
But this moment shifts from personal disrespect to something bigger, disrespect from the industry itself. Michael was not only standing up for himself, he was exposing a system he felt exploited artists, especially black artists, while masking it all behind contracts and corporate language. This was Michael voicing what many artists were too afraid to say out loud. The companies were not simply making errors. They were profiting off the very people who built their success. Michael knew speaking up carried risk, but staying silent would only protect that same system.
But he really respected the fact that that's when Eminem retired.
Yeah.
So the first thing he said, he was like, yo, what's up with this retirement with Eminem? He really retired? And I was like, yeah, he retired. Yeah, I mean, he's out, but he...
Then he took it further and called out Tommy Mottola by name. That was no vague accusation. That was Michael showing he had hit his breaking point. He was no longer asking for permission. He was speaking like a man who fully knew his own worth.
Throughout the years, black artists have been taken advantage of completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible.
The disrespect came into sharper focus when Michael saw how his album was being handled. It had sold millions, yet the machine surrounding him acted like it still was not enough. To Michael, that felt like years of hard work being brushed aside.
It's been, the record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists.
This was not Michael performing for attention. It was 5 years of work, money, trust, and pressure all collapsing at once. He felt cheated out of a moment he had earned. Michael was not only defending himself, he was defending artists exploited by a business that praised them publicly while controlling them privately behind closed doors.
He called him a fat black nigger.
Some fireworks today. Of course, Tommy